Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It is White Rice Wednesday, which means time for my Survivor recap. So to recap on tonight's episode, we're coming back from the Gabby vote out, and Christian played his idol because he got fair warning from Davey ahead of time. So Christian is safe for this so far, and Nick then realizes that since Christian played an idol this last tribal council, that there's now an idol in place. So I have to give him credit because he came up with a brilliant move. He wanted to go out and find the idol without looking too suspicious. So he made a fake idol to just find under the raft, like, oh, look, I found an idol. It's right here. So that way people would think, oh, he has an idol. They don't have to look. In the meantime, Nick could go out and look for the idol. And his plan seemed to work. He was sitting with Angelina, Mike, and someone else, and he says, oh, look, I found the idol. And he tells Nick about it. Nick tells Davey about it, and Davey isn't buying it. He knows that Nick has another idol, but he doesn't think. He thinks the same way I did. He thinks that he planted a fake one just to throw people off. So Davey then tries to go and search for an idol when it's night, and he's looking, he can't find anything. And he then says to Christian, who everyone thought was the biggest threat out there, that he wants to get rid of Nick, because even though Davey doesn't fully believe Nick, there is that possible chance that Nick could be telling the truth, saying, hey, I have an idol. I mean, we all know it's fake, but Davey doesn't know that. So the reward challenge, they had to be attached to a rope, and they had to race to get through these. They had a race to get more rope and go through this. They had to go over an obstacle, and then they had to use sandbags to knock over some blocks. And they basically played for some surf and turf, chicken, some sliders, all that good stuff that people out there for 30 plus days would love. And Davey ends up winning the reward. So yeah, I think Rickenbacker is on fire. So all through this reward challenge, I kept thinking, he better take Nick, because Nick, if David believes that his idol's fake, if he leaves Nick on the island, Nick could go back and search for an idol, and then that leaves everyone else vulnerable. So he decides to take Nick with him, which I'm happy about. I think he made a smart move there. But then he gets to choose a third person, and he's unsure who to choose. And then Jeff asks, does anybody want to plead their case? It was all silent until Angelina said, I didn't want to do this, but I did give up immunity to give the rest of the team rice. So she said, I really didn't want to use that card. It's like, but you kind of did. So he ends up choosing Kara. So back at camp, Angelina is pissed that Davey didn't take her, and again, I could see why Davey didn't take her. I mean, it did look silly on Angelina's part then, because it just looks like that she's begging at this point. And she then cooks up revenge rice, cooks up the biggest pot of rice to possibly give all the rice to the people that are on the island, and the reward people don't get anything. So then, on the reward, Davey wants to talk to Kara about getting Nick out, and Kara's all for it. She also sees that Nick is a threat in this game and is on board, wants to get him out. Kara then tells Allison that Davey said that Nick has two idols. So Allison then goes and talk to Mike about Nick, saying that people are gunning for him. And I'm like, people can really keep secrets in this game. You really can't trust anybody out here in Survivor, so you gotta really be careful who you tell plans to. So Davey then tries one more time to go out and look for an idol, and while it's raining, he goes to look because everybody's distracted. They're all under the shelter. And he does end up finding something, but it's a clue to an advantage. I'm thinking, oh, was it a never steal advantage? It's actually pretty interesting. It reminds me of the Ghost Island advantages from last season. Basically, there's an immunity idol right there, so he did find an immunity idol. So but the catch is that immunity idol is only good for this next vote. So, but if Davy's willing to sacrifice his next vote at tribal, he can smash some pots to see if he can give the idol more time to work. Like, I guess if he gets 2 right, the idol will be good for 2 more tribal councils. 3, I guess, yeah. So Davy would potentially be all set then if no votes are against him or anything. And he's unsure, he's pondering what he should do, and he actually asks God to give him a sign, and he ultimately decides to just take the idol and play it for this vote because this vote is too crucial for him to not vote. And yeah, so then Davy has an immunity idol. So congratulations, Davy, on that immunity idol find. So the immunity challenge, they had to stand on this perch while holding the saucer and with a ball on it. And through different intervals, you would add more balls, making it harder. And I gotta give Jeff credit. All the balls jokes during this challenge, I don't know how he kept a straight face. I don't know how anybody kept a straight face that whole time. So it actually ended up coming down between Allison and Mike, and it ended up being Mike that won immunity, so congrats to Mike on winning that immunity challenge. So Nick then decides, when they get back from the challenge, that he wants Allison gone because he sees her as a threat in the game. And again, I don't see how they think Allison is a threat, besides the fact that she's been able to survive this many tribal councils. I don't see how they think she's a threat. Mike is unsure whether he should go for Allison or Nick because Nick is a bigger threat than Allison, and he's also has been close to Nick this whole time, so he's kind of torn on who to go for. And Mike then decides that this is the time to get rid of Christian because last time Christian was protected by an idol. This time Christian's vulnerable, so we all know that if Christian makes it to the final 3, he wins hands down. So Mike says this possibly might be the only opportunity to get rid of Christian. So he's talking to other people to see if they want to get rid of Christian, and they won't budge. Then at that point, Nick and Davy are talking, and Nick actually confides in Davy and tells him that the second idol he found is fake. So confirming Davy's original thought that his idol was fake. Davy then sees that Nick is no longer a threat for this vote, so he switches his vote to Allison. Mike then informs Nick that Davy wants him gone. So, yeah, votes are all up in the air, and I have no idea who's going to go home. So at Tribal Council, at this point in the game, it's coming down to the wire. You basically can't trust anybody. Even the whole game of Survivor, you can't trust anyone. And the votes are very crucial because you have to think about the people who you decide to vote out. You have to think about the people who you leave behind, and could you beat them in the final 3? Could they possibly help you make it to the final 3? So there's a lot going in the decision to who to vote out versus who to keep on the island. So Davy decides to play his idol for himself, and then Nick decides to play his idol, and I'm thinking that looks like his fake one. And it is. Nick plays his fake one to get a read to see if it's going to be him tonight, and he decides to actually play his real idol on himself. And Davy did get, I believe, 2 votes, and it ultimately came down between Allison and Christian got sent home. I got to admit, I'm betting a lot of you guys are fans of Christian in the Survivor fandom, I like shed a tear because I think we all wanted Christian to win, because he just seems like, when you think of an underdog, Christian is an underdog, and I definitely think Christian would have won the game had he made it that far. I definitely think they made the right decision. As much as I like Christian, I feel like they made the right decision to get him off now while they can. I'm wondering, though, because Gabby got a lot of heat last week that she wanted to get rid of Christian. Will Mike get the same heat now because he was the one behind the Christian vote? Or does Gabby get all that heat because she's a girl? Again, this is all like eye-opening to me. Angelina brought the whole sexism thing up. So, yeah, even though Christian didn't win, I definitely think if there's an opportunity to have another second chance season, which I'm hoping they have it eventually, or just another returnee season, Christian no doubt will be able to return. I definitely think that if Christian were to play again, I definitely think he'd be an immediate threat just because of his previous gameplay, but he might surprise us all. He surprised everyone. He started the game off as people... I mean, day one, people thought he was the weakest person on the tribe, and look how far he came in the game. He's got to be pretty proud of himself to make it this far. And I think, in a way, Christian turned into a Goliath. It's always felt like, you know, he didn't belong anywhere, but then once he met Dan and John, they made him feel like he belonged, like he was a brochacho. So that means a lot to somebody who maybe is an underdog or underappreciated and is kind of not included in things. That's gotta mean a lot to someone. So I'm sad to see Christian go, but the game goes on. So I can't believe it's already the finale for Survivor. Next Wednesday is the Survivor finale, and all hell's gonna break loose. It's down to the wire, and congrats to everybody for making it this far. This is a big accomplishment. I'm also wondering, with the whole fire making challenge, who exactly is gonna lose the fire making challenge, who's gonna make it to the final three. Should be interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Survivor. If you guys want to check out Survivor, it is on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on CBS. Until next time, stay regal.